Today is November 15th, 2017. My name is Joe Todd. This is an interview with Albert Schrick in Reno, Oklahoma. Sir, where were you born?
In Frederick, Oklahoma. It wasn't in town, but it was in the vicinity of there.
Okay. And when's your birthday?
November the 7th, 29.
1929. Who is your father?
BC or Bernard Carl Schrick.
And your mother?
Emma May Lynch.
Lynch?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go through school in Frederick?
No, it was a couple different schools. It was in a consolidated number 3, which was Henderson, and then Daddy moved to a different place over, and it was consolidated number 11, Victory, and graduated from there.
What year did you graduate?
1948.
1948. And you graduated from what school?
Victory High School.
Victory High School. Where is that located?
In between Granfield and Davidson. Don't tell you anything. Well, southwestern Oklahoma.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Was your father a farmer?
Yes, sir.
What chores did you do in the farm?
Well, we all had chores that as you got a little bit larger, you did more. First you kind of, feed the chickens, and then gather eggs, and then you milked, and then you helped in the fields.
Did you have a tractor or plow with horses?
Well, most of mine was after I got big enough to play. My older bud worked with with ponies or mules, but tractor was, Daddy bought a tractor, or the guy that Daddy worked for bought a tractor.
What kind of tractor?
It was a farm-all, an old regular farm-all.
Yeah, okay. What did you do for recreation in high school?
Well, back where I lived, sports was just about the only thing that was there. So I played, football, basketball, and baseball, because that was just the way it was. That's, you was out in the country somewhere, a ways from town and so.
Do you remember when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor?
Yes, sir.
What did you think when you heard about the attack?
Well, see, I had some uncles that joined in. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was the worst thing there ever was. And then one of my uncles that was in the Marines, that when he got wounded so bad, he had one of my letters just telling him, said, I wanted to grow up to be a Marine. And he got a leg, he lost a leg, and he was a squad leader. One of his squad was moving from one place to the other there, and got shot, and he was hit with it where it didn't kill him, it just, and they couldn't get to him. So every once in a while then they would shoot him again someplace where he would, holler and hurt him. Uncle ran out to get him, and he was hit 13 times with shell and shrapnel. Lost a leg, and nearly lost an arm, and then he had to, even up to, just before he died. I mean, he lived several years after that, but on a wood, it was really a wooden leg. I mean, and I think he couldn't bend it. Back then they didn't have them. I guess it would bend, but to kind of work it down his foot, but that couldn't, no knee, he's stiff up there part. And shrapnel would work out of his body. So
What was his name?
Edward Schrick, Ed. He was in the Marines.
I'd like to ask, in your schooling, who was your favorite teacher?
Well, I suppose superintendent. I mean, he taught science and you know, and chemistry, stuff like that. And,
What was his name?
Jack Martin.
Jack Martin.
But I had one that I liked awful well over at the other school. I was just in the 5th grade, but he took interest in me and taught us play ball. You know, I mean, of course, Daddy did everything since I was big enough to pick a ball up. But and his name was Clyde Oaf. He was over at Victory High School. I mean, at the Henderson No. 3 school.
During the war, did you help with the scrap metal drives and rubber drives?
Yes, sir. Well, the metal and everything, anything that could. We had, Daddy had, you talk about my daddy and them,
Yeah.
stamps, you know, had stamps to get sugar and to get coffee. Well, you didn't hardly have coffee. You had, I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it. It was stuff you drank instead of coffee.
Tea?
No, I mean, it was a substitute, but it was
Oh, with Postum?
Postum.
Yes.
I guess it was.
Yeah.
I don't see much like that.
Did you help with the scrap metal drives?
Yeah.
Where'd you take the scrap metal?
They had a place up Frederick that took the Brumbelows, I think was the name of the guy that they took it to, and like that. They took all kinds of metal. They took, you know, they separated it and sent.
What'd you do in VJ Day when the war ended?
Let's see. I don't remember what all we did, but we celebrated it. Because I thought that was awfully attacked. I don't know. I had, well, I guess you'd call it hatred, but it was pretty near hatred for them. But
What'd you do after high school?
well, with Daddy, helped Daddy around the farm there for a little while till I was drafted.
When were you drafted?
And let's see, it was February the 2nd, I believe it was, 51.
51.
And then I went to basic Camp Chaffee, Arkansas, and took, 6 weeks, and then 6 weeks of well, it was artillery training this last 6 weeks. It wasn't with the guns so much as with the sighting and all of the other stuff. And
That was your advanced training.
yes, and then we had a few days. I think we had 10 days at home and then straight to Korea.
What type of training did you have in basic training?
Well, we had, it was the partial paratrooper training, except it wasn't, we never did no jumping.
What do you remember most about basic training?
Well, I had never been to Arkansas, and I just thought that was the coldest place in the world. So
where do you take your artillery training?
Same place.
Same place. And you were training for what guns?
Well, this was the sighting and different stuff. It was just artillery training.
Okay.
We had just a brush thing with the 105s and the 155s.
So after your artillery training, where'd you go?
Went home for a little while, very little while, and then to San Francisco on out. And
You recall the ship you were on?
No, it wasn't it was a twin screw, but it was named after a sailor, but it wasn't a general or nothing.
Okay. What would you think leaving San Francisco heading out?
I didn't think I'd ever come back. I mean, Mom and Dad took me to the Oklahoma City where we had to come to leave, you know. And I didn't think I'd ever see them again.
Tell me about the trip overseas.
Well, they put us on advance guard, they just picked some people, you know, I guess. We was advance guard on the ship 2 days before for the other come aboard, you know. Well, the ship carried this ship carried some civilians to Hawaii to pick up some more. Some of the boys that they had told them if you enlist, they will. You could take your basic in Hawaii, but they didn't tell them to save their money because they'd have to pay their own way back to the state. Or I say that. They said that. They said they didn't because they spent it as well, you know, you don't get a whole lot. I mean, you don't have to hide it or nothing. You don't get very much money back. I think it was 67 or 60 something dollars a month. But
Would you sleep on the ship?
on a number 7 rack up. And, you know, you're down in the hold, and you know they've got little deals, and everything you own is in that rack with you. You duffel bag and you gun. Back then, it made us all carry you know, the big M1s with us instead of the carbines.
What'd they tell you to do in case the ship was sinking?
Well, they told us that we never would be more than 3 miles from land. Of course, it'd be underneath us. So that was the bad part.
Had you been assigned to a unit at this time?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So the ship went to Hawaii.
Yes, and we was there. These people got off, and we got one half of the soldiers got off for 8 hours, I believe it was. And then the other half got off the other half, and then I had to all be on board. And the civilians got off, of course, first. And then they loaded the rest, you know, the ones that took the basic there that shipped over.
What'd you do in Hawaii?
I went on that tour. That's all I went on the tour. Back then, though, now, what I couldn't get over, Mother kind of has a green thumb, you know, and she can, anything flowers she plants, you know, that, I don't know about you, but the rubber plant, do you remember a rubber plant like that and stuff? They grew into tree things over there in Hawaii, you know, and the plants that she bought, babies and everything, you know, Kara has to keep them in the sunshine and the thing and all. Do I need to quit?
No.
Well, it grew wild and over there, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, you know, I'd never seen any place where it grew wild like that.
So from Hawaii, where'd you go?
Oh, we went to Japan to the shipping out place over there, and then shipped on. We got on those. What do you call them boats? Small ones. It's pretty small. We stood up back to back, you know, like that from there to Korea.
Was it an LST or?
Yeah, that's what I believe it was. Over there.
What were you thinking about going to Korea?
What?
What were you thinking about going to Korea?
I didn't think much about it. No, I didn't. I don't know. They get your mind in the basic. That's the reason young people goes.
Yeah.
Because, I'd have to think about some of that stuff now, and there they teach you to do it automatically, and I don't know, you get, now you might, if a buddy was out there, something, you may think about it now, but you never thought about it then. You went and got him, or, to tap into anything you could do, because he's just like a brother. I mean, your life was his life, and his life was your life, lots of ways.
Where'd the ship land?
Let's see, Camp Drake, I guess it was.
Camp Drake in Japan?
Yeah.
And where did the ship go in Korea?
Pretty close down to the bottom of it.
Busan?
But yeah, Busan, I believe, was across where it went. And then we went, the boys really had a hard time up there in '50s when, when all of that, they could come and push.
And the Chinese came across?
Come back, well, not the Chinese so much as when that North Korea was handling them back, because they didn't know had no directions or what to do or nothing, and they was carrying us up to the front to replace by the loads and carrying them back by the loads.
When do you recall the date you landed in Korea?
Let's see, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 3 months, and 10 days. Let's see. I believe it was in March.
March of 52?
One.
Of 52?
No, of 1951.
51?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got out
Yeah.
when I come back in 52.
What unit were you assigned to?
When they brought us up with 1st Cavalry.
What unit the first Cav?
Well, I don't know what the first group was that likely we were assigned to, but then the captain, I've tried to forget that so much that I forgot it, I guess. But anyway, he had a bunch report to him, and so I was one of them that reported to him, and I got picked for division artillery. And there was a group of 3 of us that would go out. We had to be, well, we was behind the lines, but we was way out ahead of the artillery, and we sent up the balloons, and I'd read the theodolite that it would give the wind direction and the speed of going up there like that. And you knew it was pretty rough when they got to shooting your balloons down,
What guns did you have?
Well, we had both of them back there, and we had the big 8-inch way back, but it was, you never did see it. It was back.
So you had the 105s and 155s?
Fives, yes.
What's a crew?
Go ahead.
What's a crew of a 105? How many in the crew?
105, I believe there was 5 of them. Maybe it was.
And what was your job?
Well, my job, I was always sitting at the deal. I never did handle the guns.
Okay. You did the balloons?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you...
That was teaching that it fits on a thing of little can, you put on the bottom of this deal right here, and you know, with it, and makes that night or helium deal, like, and that balloon takes off, and then you read it, and you get the direction of the wind and the speed of it going up and out, which direction, and that way they set their readings of the guns, so that it.
How do you read that to tell the wind direction and speed?
It's got a little deal on there that, you know, just like well, you ever read a survey thing? It's something like that, just like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your most vivid memory of Korea?
I don't know, when I guess this one, buddy got hit pretty bad. He lived, it cut his pack off of him, you know, because their bazooka, I can't think of that, you know, where we would fire one to the side and the other to the other side, and then and hit it, they went 1, 2, 3 like that. They go like that. That third one, they put it in your pocket if you didn't move.
How far north did you advance in Korea?
Oh gosh. Well, we went up above the thing there, 38th, but to come down, yes, up and back. I mean, that was the difference, I guess, from, because hearing them talk about in Germany, the lines, that this line wasn't nothing like that. We had the Greeks, they had some Greeks on one side of us, and the English on the other side of us, and the Turks had a strip through there, and now that's a mean group right there. That's a mean group.
Did you get to the Yalu River?
Yes. They did. When they took their break, they sharpened on the bayonets. They didn't rest.
Did you see the Chinese over there?
Yes, they was one as always. They'd come down. But I wasn't at the front when they made the run, though. We was back at the pulled back, but they'd come down with noise, and it, you know, first bunch was supposed to get you rattled, and that's it. Another bunch, and then another bunch, you know.
Have any contact with the local people in Korea?
Local. Well, we had a boy a kid that over there, he was about 6 years old. He'd got away from the Turks and come over to us. The Turks were mean to him, he said, and he'd speak 4 or 5 different languages. But when they found out that they was looking for him and found out we had him over there, well, they made us give him back.
What, you go through any of the villages over there?
No, I didn't.
How did you move the guns?
How did I load them? I didn't load them, but they loaded them from the back. When they pulled it around there, another one shoved the gun up there, the shell up there. One handed it to him, shoved it up there.
How much that shell weigh?
Oh golly, I don't know, but it's pretty heavy.
Yeah. How did you move the guns?
One of the 105s with the pulled and the 155s were fired up with them had a mobile.
They were self-propelled.
See.
Yeah, okay. Now, how far behind the front line were you with the artillery?
Well, different. At times when I'd go out with the survey crew, when we went out to check for the linemen to lay lines and stuff, we was with the group up there.
What lines were you laying?
Phone lines. They laid those lines.
Oh.
So they had laid phone lines.
So you were laying comma wire.
They were, yeah.
Were you laying?
No, I was with the survey crew. I could read the third. They would light with them, but
That was reading the balloons going up?
no. The survey crew was a different crew. But only time we'd do that is when the big guns was going to fire. We'd run and have get fight when they needed a thing like that.
How long were you in Korea?
I think it's about 7 months, I believe it was. When I come back with, we thought we was coming back to the States, first calf, and then they took us to Hokkaido, Japan right up there next to Siberia, across.
How far north did you advance in Korea?
I can't remember how far we was, but we had to back down some. So I can't remember.
You go north of the 38th parallel?
I think so. I think we've that's.
Get your family in John?
I've tried to get that. I can't. I don't know.
What's your best memory of Korea?
Yes, leaving it.
Could you tell the North Koreans from the South Koreans?
No. Well, you could too if you'd wait a little while, because the North Koreans shoot at you.
What was the attitude of the local people toward you?
Well, most of them was wanting food or something, so it's about like you'd say those people were over there, and they're starved and stuff. I mean, they was wanting anything they could get to eat or that. And of course they would steal too, which I guess if you using their shoes, you probably do the same thing, but
What's your worst memory of Korea?
we lost some people we camped out at a river bottom, and it was raining and raining and raining. And the first thing you knew, everything was washing away. It just come down as it just like they say, a big front of water. That's the way it come down there, and lost several of the guys that way.
You recall the name of the river?
No, the Indian was one of them, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Tell me about leaving Korea. How'd you get from Korea to Hokkaido?
Let's see. Well, that's one I've forgotten.
What'd you do in Hokkaido?
Well, in Hokkaido, we had one trip that they sent there was three trucks of us that they sent up to that, whatever that little water is run up there, up so see what the Russians were doing on the other side there. But and then but most of the time up there at Hokkaido, we protected that Air Force thing. I mean, there's some air base there that those jets sit there, you know.
Tell me about coming home.
Well, coming home, I thought they'd carried us back to Korea. We come in up there at Seattle. Golly, that looked like Korea when coming in there. Of course, we had to pick up some. We went by ADAC and had to pick up some sailors that was coming back.
There, ADAC.
ADAC,
Yeah.
a little part of Canada there. I mean,
Alaska.
Alaska, part of Alaska there.
Anything happened on the trip home?
No, just kept trying to find some of my buddies, but you know, that I went over there with.
Did you get your discharge when you came home?
No, but I never did have to go back. It was a thing that, you know, that I was subject to call there for, I don't remember now how long it was. But
Where were you based in the States?
you mean when I come back?
Yeah.
I come to Chaffee and I got a discharge.
When were you discharged?
I'd have to look.
Was it 1953?
Yeah, it was the end of 53 somewhere.
What'd you do after Korea?
That was in Hokkaido, Japan, up there where said, well, we was up there. If you wasn't on guard duty, you guarded. We lived in Quonset huts. And if you wasn't on guard duty, why, you know, you wore took, you know, stayed kind of training there and stuff. But you had quite a bit. They had a gym out there, fixed out there, and so I played ball when I wasn't on guard duty or doing, you know, after duty hours. So I guess that's what you do. But I done back in the States too.
You said you're keeping an eye on the Russians?
Yeah, or the Chinese, I guess. No, it's Chinese.
Okay.
Chinese, I'm sorry. There was threats of them coming that way. That's what they always. Some of them thought that that's the way they would come across there and then come on down to Japan.
Yeah. So what'd you do after you got your discharge?
I came down to Dallas. My wife had an uncle that worked at the Ford plant, and I went down there and went out there 3 different days to get, you know, they hire them. You go to the employment agent, and they come and take so many, and they take the first however many they need. They don't know nothing about that. So sometimes they'd miss me 4 or 5. Sometimes they'd miss me 20. So I decided. Then I heard that Kraft Foods was hiring, so I hired on there, and worked there 38.5 years.
Where?
Kraft Foods
Well, where?
in Garland, Texas.
Garland, Texas. When did you come here to St. Catharines?
Well, I got to where I got in pretty bad shape, and I couldn't get around. And the kids had a fit for me to sell my house, and so I sold my house and lived with my youngest son for about a year and a half or something, and they moved to Missouri, and that's too cold for me up there, and so I come here.
So you came to Reno.
Yeah, well, I got a sister-in-law that works, that lives here.
Okay.
That,
Would you join the Army again?
well, probably would now, but I didn't join it then.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Sam got me.
When you hear boot camp, what do you think of?
Oh, that,
Basic training.
yeah, but then I hear later now that they if it's too cold, they put a flag up where we would, on the flag we had was the ones they waved at us, you know.
Yeah. When you hear troop ship, what do you think of?
Oh, I don't, that's no way to travel, I promise you that. I said, man, how do you go up in lines to eat, you know, you like that. And I thought I was an old trooper. I was on that thing, you know, 2 days and a night before the rest of them come up there. I thought that, man, that to the seasick. We got out there and we hit a storm. Those twin screws come up out of the water and you'd shake that boat. Just like you is a rattler.
Did you get seasick?
Yes.
What do you do for seasickness?
Lay there and pray somebody bring you some crackers. It's the awfulest place, and when I've seen them lay there, I can't tell you all that over there, but like at the latrine there, you know, and how that keeps water in there and switches back and forth like that. They lay their head there in that water. I mean, they was sick. I was sick, but I couldn't do that.
When you hear Korea, what do you think of?
Well, I had a buddy that went over there with a different outfit group, and they sent him back over there. I never did get a thing, but I think he stayed in service, or stayed. I don't know whether he stayed in the Army, but he stayed with the military some way, and they sent him, and I don't know whether they paid for his wife or not, but he went back to Korea, and he said that and I went blank again. The capital of South Korea, Seoul,
yes.
had said that it had buildings just like Oklahoma City did now. Said they had roads, concrete roads. Well, he didn't say concrete, but he said paved roads and everything like that. He said you wouldn't believe it like that.
What did Seoul look like when you were there?
Well, kind of like an Indian village. They didn't have no big, you know, they had some buildings, but they didn't have nothing permanent like, you know, things like that and stuff.
They had dirt streets?
They had some roads that was called permanent, but most of it was some kind of rock stuff.
When you hear First Cav,
I like that.
Douglas MacArthur.
I thought he was a great guy, but now that was my thought. Thought if they'd let him down his way, we wouldn't probably been in the shape we was in. But that's my thought again.
Harry Truman.
Well, Harry would probably give us all pianos if it'd been up to him, you know. He and his daughter could come by, Margaret could come by and play for us.
Yeah. Dwight Eisenhower.
Dwight had some pretty good ideas, I guess, about that goes.
Have any USO shows come to Korea?
Yeah. One did. I was trying to think who it was.
Was it a Christmas show?
Yeah.
Was it Bing Crosby? I mean Bob Hope? Bob Hope?
I believe. Name some of those women back then.
Martha Ray? Joe Stafford? Betty Grable?
I've seen a lot of pictures of her.
Yeah.
But
Did Bob Hope come over there?
I believe Bob Hope was, but I can't remember who some woman was.
Yeah, Jerry Colonna with him.
Yeah, I believe that was right.
Yeah. And Les Brown and his orchestra.
I don't remember him, but he could have been.
How do you want to be remembered?
Yeah, I guess if I love the Lord and I love my family, and love my country.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I guess not.
Well, sir, this is an excellent interview.
Well, I'm sorry, I just can't remember things.
Oh, that's okay.
But I've tried several years to forget them.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, I want to thank you for your service and thank you for the interview.
You're welcome.
And
May I ask you something
Sure.
about Vietnam? My little bud went over there. Of course, he was he was in the Navy, but he was a corpsman for the Marines. Oh, he hated that place with a passion.
It's a beautiful country.
It is.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I guess that's.
Okay. Well, again, this is November 15th, 2017. My name is Joe Todd. This has been an interview with Albert Schrick in Reno, Oklahoma. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.